What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube channel. If you haven't already subscribed and liked this video, I would really appreciate if you did that. Today, I have a special video. I don't really do videos like these, but I feel like this is one that is very needed. And today, we're gonna be talking about this camera. This right here is the Sony A7S III. And we're gonna talk about some of the drawbacks of it that I do not believe that other people are talking about. And we're gonna be talking about speculations and rumors and what I think would be amazing to have in the next predecessor, the A7S IV. So we're gonna dive right in. The Sony A7S III is an amazing camera. It shares the same sensor as the FX3 and the FX6, which are cinema line cameras, and it's just a little different body. So the difference between this body and the other ones is that this has a viewfinder that you can look through, where the FX3 doesn't. And I honestly prefer this body over using the FX3. I've used the FX3, it feels nice, but I just feel like I'm more used to the DSLR body and not the FX3 body. I don't do a ton of like cinema shooting. I do more run and gun, and just having the ability to look through the viewfinder at certain times is really important to me. So the first problem I'm gonna be talking about in this video is something that no one, honestly, I have not been able to find any other videos about this, and that is the horrible hot pixels. If you do long exposures, and if you do time lapses, motion time lapses, slider time lapses, night lapses of the Milky Way, you're gonna know that this camera is not very good for stills. After about the first long exposure you take on it, there's hot pixels everywhere. And because this sensor in here is only 12 megapixels, that means that the pixels are a lot bigger. And that allows it to have super good low light for video. But for pictures, you get horrible hot pixels, and they are very prevalent. I'm gonna show you some images on the screen and some time lapses that I've taken where you can clearly see that these hot pixels are everywhere. So hopefully Sony fixes that. The next problem that I wanna talk about with this camera, I've had this camera for about 3 years, is the flip screen. Honestly, you can see right here that the little hinge, it's just kind of coming off. And this right there, do you see that? It wobbles. You can hear that a little bit. It wobbles back and forth, and it's just like not on there very good. So after 3 years of constantly turning the flip screen, rotating it, it's pretty much broken, and you have to send it into Sony to fix it. I've not done that yet, but I bet it will be a nice little repair. So hopefully on the next iteration of the camera, they fix that and they just overall make this body feel a little better. The Sony A7S III and the FX3 are amazing cameras. You get some crazy images and you get some insane low light performance. I'm gonna show you some of the shots that I've been able to get. So here, you can check out some of those now. Back in the end of September, Sony filed registrations for new cameras in China, and you can see that there are 3 different models here. One of them we're not sure what it is. One we are very likely to be the A9 III, and the next one would hopefully be the A7S III. And usually after these registrations come out, these cameras are released within a few months. As you can see, Sony has announced a special event on November 7th for the A9 III. Sony is coming out with a lot of cameras, so logically it would make sense that the A7S IV comes next. Let's talk about the things that we wish to see in the next iteration of the A7S III, the A7S IV, which will hopefully be coming out soon. First off, we hope they will keep the price low. If they were able to keep the price below $4,000 USD, that would be amazing, but probably not gonna happen. So hopefully they keep that close to this. When this was released, I believe it was $3,500. So if they keep it under 4 grand, that would be awesome. The first thing that I wish to see in the new camera body would be more dynamic range. It already has amazing color, amazing dynamic range, 422 10-bit S-Log3, you can get some amazing images, but if they were able to take that up to the next level, that would set this camera apart. The next thing that I hope that they add would be a new 24 megapixel sensor. Right now, this has a 12 megapixel sensor, and the photos suck. Honestly, I'm gonna say it. I've taken photos with this all the time, but I will always pick up the A7 IV because it just takes a lot better pictures. And when you do slider time lapses and motion time lapses and long exposures, you get hot pixels. And so having more megapixels will mitigate that problem. And if they take a 24 megapixel sensor, then they will be able to fit 6K, and you can either have 6K come from this video, or you can have oversampled 4K, which would be a great addition. So the next thing that I hope they do is they keep using these batteries. So these are the NPFZ 100. And if Sony keeps using these, that would be awesome. So they really should stick with those and not change it up and make us get millions of new batteries. The other thing that I would like to be added to this camera is they could hopefully bump up the low light performance. Right now it has dual base ISOs of 640 and 12,800, and those are amazing. I can pretty much shoot whatever I want, even stuff at like blue hour, right when the sun goes down, I get amazing images. I just bump it up to 12,800. But if they even up that to say 20,000 base ISO, you would get some even crazier images. So if they were to do one thing on the A7S series, the low light, it'd be to make the low light performance better for video, have a better dual ISO. That would be awesome. Another thing that I hope they could add would be better in-body image stabilization. So as you're moving around, this has better mitigation of shakes and everything, and the images just come out looking cleaner. And finally, the last thing that would almost be, I feel like, impossible to add, but if Sony added internal NDs on this, this would be a complete game changer. So hopefully Sony is listening and they put internal NDs on there. That is what I think the A7S IV should have. If it had all of these things, I think it would be a killer camera and it would already be selling like hotcakes off the shelf. The Sony A7S III is 3 or 4 or 5 years old. So it is getting up there, and I really think that the tech is outdated. The software and stuff definitely needs to be changed. The A7S IV is coming soon, and hopefully they fit a lot of these features in there. So thank you for watching my video. A7S III is an amazing camera, but hopefully the A7S IV comes and it has these gifts in it. So thank you so much for following my YouTube video, and check back soon for another one.